What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video. It is a bit of an unusual setting for intro of the video, but I've done a silly thing and I've actually forgotten to record one at the beginning of the whole job that I was undertaking with the X5. So in today's video, what you're going to see is a lot of tasks and little jobs around the braking system. It wasn't my plan to perform everything that you're going to see. I was only planning on doing about 10% of the whole thing, but the more I looked, the more issues I found, and it kind of escalated. And because I do want to have a reliable daily car that I can just jump in at any time and not have to worry about anything, in some cases I might just go overboard and just do a lot of preventative maintenance to hopefully avoid any issues in the future. As you're watching this video, please keep in mind that it has been filmed over quite a long period of time, approximately 2.5 weeks, and some of the timing that I mentioned in the video may not make much sense, but hopefully it does. If you see anything that I'm doing wrong or I could do better, please let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like the video, click the like button. If you don't, click the dislike button. And whatever your choice is, I hope you enjoyed the video. So the first thing I want to do is replace some brake pads. To be more precise, these braided lines. At the moment, some standard rubber hoses, and based on what previous owner told me, he had to replace one because that's burst. I did see a few comments online about people saying that it is quite a common thing, and to be fair, the car is like 16, 17 years old, so I don't know what the condition of the hoses is, and I'm just going to jack up the car, go around it, change all the brake lines, and then try to bleed the brakes, and hopefully after all of that I can start actually driving the car, because that is, like I say, the main reason why I'm not driving it. Apart from that, the car does start and run and whatnot, but I just don't want to risk it with these brakes. So I'm going to set you up on time lapse and start jacking the car up and try to get these lines off, which I'm sure is going to be great fun. Right, so I've got the front wheel off, and here we can see a sign of a dodgy MOT. Someone just sprayed over the brake line with just some spray paint, I guess. All the rust is coming through. They do look worse than the rear line, so I think I'm just gonna replace it. Go via the safest route and just put a new line in, which makes the job of completing it today just impossible. But it is what it is. Luckily I've got another car I can drive around at the moment. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to take it all off. So you can see what the rubber thing is on the lines. That's for slotting into here. As such, this looks fairly straightforward to do. And I've just realised that I've been sending the wrong lines for sure. They sent me the 4 rears, which is not ideal. Yeah, I've been sent the four rear lines. So no, actually I was just being stupid. Yep, panic over. They've sent the right lines. Well, right-ish. So I can get this line replaced to an extent, but not fully, unfortunately. I'll have to replace this line, and I'm guessing it's going to be the same on the other side. I did mention earlier that I've got a vibration while driving on the motorway. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you this while holding the camera, but basically when the car is parked on the ground I can move the wheel and this bush moves around. You can see it is actually torn. I've got a full set of arms to go in, so I'm going to be replacing everything here basically. But then again, that's a job for another day. Looks like the rubber boot here has been replaced before. It's quite good. I have replaced this level sensor because it was solid and actually giving errors, and making the adaptive lights not work. And now I've got 0 errors, so hopefully the lights will work now. So yeah, this job is doomed. So I'm gonna replace this line and hopefully can get this line made up somewhere today or tomorrow. Okay guys, so it's several days later since the last clip. I decided against replacing the full pipe because it's buried quite deep underneath there. It goes above pipes, below pipes, and it just doesn't make sense to replace the full pipe when it's only a short section of that is actually really bad. The rest of it is pretty clean. So camera just won't focus very well on the pipe, but it's pretty clean. I bought one of these unions, so the idea is to just put in there and make one of these new pipes. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. I'm just going to cut it here and make a bit of new piping. And with a bit of editing magic, the new brake pipe is in. That's the union I was talking about earlier. So that's all done, and I just need to do the other side now. But while I've got all the wheels off, I'm thinking of cleaning up these calipers and giving them a coat of fresh paint. Might as well while it's all off and easy to get to, and I need to bleed the brakes anyway, so I may as well just take it all off, go over with the wire brush and just give them a fresh coat of paint. Okay, so the caliper is off, and the front caliper was quite difficult to take it off the brake disc. And what I wanted to do is push the piston in a little bit, release the pads and take the caliper off. But as I was trying to do that, I noticed that it's quite stiff and didn't really want to move. So I took the caliper off, put it in the vise, and using huge mole grips just about managed to get the piston moving. All of this damage wasn't done by me, so there might be some marks that I've done here, like the fresh, but here below there, that wasn't even my doing. But as you can see, the piston is covered in rust and dirt and corrosion, and yeah, it's that's basically scrap. Gonna have to order some new ones. This seal, it was okay, it wasn't perished, but it's actually stuck to the caliper, which I don't think it should be. So I'll need to peel that off somehow. And as you can see, it's absolutely filthy inside. Obviously some of the crap may have fallen in while I was taking the piston off, but I'm not convinced. So now I need to get the other caliper off, probably go through the same procedure, get the piston out, measure what size pistons and seals I need, get them ordered. Hopefully they should be here in 2-3 days. It's currently Saturday at the time of filming, so obviously I can't put the car back together tomorrow. It's not likely I'll be able to find anyone local with a kit that I need, so it's going to be an order off internet. But it gives me more time to prep the calipers and get them painted and let the paint dry.
and then hopefully in the next few days when the repair parts come in, I can actually get them swapped over and actually get the car back on the road. So for me it's going to be a few days, for you it's going to be just a few seconds, and I'll continue fixing the brakes. Right, so I managed to get both of the calipers off, got the front brake pipe off as well, which I said I wanted to replace. And if the camera focuses, I'll show you how bad it is. So I thought it wouldn't come off because I barely managed to get the spanner on. Let me just move it. There is some yellow paint, which as far as I know, MOT testers mark when something fails, possible advisors, but I think that's a failure. I need to check through the car's history and see how far back this dates really, because I think it's been like that for a few years, which is to me just another sign of a dodgy MOT. There's no way that it would fail 1 year or get advisory on this sort of pipe and then get advised the following year. The front brake pipe, the flexi pipe, looks like that, perished, so it's a good job on replacing that. The calipers themselves look okay. I need to double check the rear one. It seemed to start moving easily, but then I couldn't move it any further, but I did manage to take it off quite easily. The front one, not that you can see much. The dust seal looks fine. I pushed the piston in quite easily. I'm gonna take the caliper off the carrier on both front and rear now, and then I can start cleaning them up. So yeah, I need to double check the condition of the rear piston, make sure that moves freely. If not, I might just order the rear kit as well, seeing as everything's off the car as it is now. Might just be a good chance to do it all now.
Okay, it's actually been a few days now since the last clip where I've stripped down the calipers. Just to explain what's been going on, because I've just put it on time lapse and I just wanted to strip the calipers as quick as possible, just to get that out of my way. So as I explained earlier, I struggled to move one of the calipers. Struggled to move the piston into the caliper. As a result of that, I've decided to rebuild the front calipers because I found that one of them was seized. When I went to take off the passenger rear caliper, I found that it moved quite smoothly a little bit, but then it got to a certain point and it was just stuck and I couldn't move the piston. So I've taken the decision to just order the rear rebuild kit as well. Altogether for the front and rear, I've paid about £65–70 with next day delivery, and I'll show you what the kit consists of in a minute. So yeah, I just thought it was a perfect opportunity to actually rebuild the calipers front and rear, and I'll know that they won't seize up, hopefully, anytime soon. Hopefully, at least not in my ownership. So let me show you what the kit contains and what it looks like, and just a quick comparison between the new and old parts. Okay, so this is the comparison between front and rear. I thought the fronts, the old pistons didn't look too bad. That's one of the better looking ones. It's not as rusty, but I think that's the one that was actually seized on the rear. The other one moved around quite easily, but yeah, that's actually rust, and that's not doing its job anymore. So yeah, the kit, so there's two kits, one for the front, and I've got the other piston separately, and there's also the rear kit. The rear kit comes with two of these packs. So the sealer goes inside of the caliper and also the dust cover. Also the new rubber inserts. It comes with these. That's what I'm looking for. So I've got a new set of bleed valves.
and some grease to assemble it all. Same for the front, same full set of seals and gaskets and rubber inserts, and also it includes the bleed valves. So out of all this, I'll only need these guides. So I'll have to clean them up and make sure they're all okay. So the front kit was quite easy to find. It is just a 60mm piston, and seems to be quite common and readily available on eBay. The front kit, the rear kit is actually, it's a 42mm piston, and there's a few different versions of the height. So again, I measured up the old piston, and that's how I found the match for that. This is actually off a E46 M3 rear brakes, so they use the same size pistons. So I think that's everything I need at this point. I'm just going to grab a wire brush and start cleaning up the brakes. I think there's going to be a huge difference. Just going to get a shot of how they look at the moment, covered in layers of rust. Well, 30 minutes of cleaning and the caliper looks something like that. It's not perfect. I don't think this caliper in particular will ever be perfect. It's quite corroded, and I don't think there's much point of trying to get this looking perfect. While doing the process of cleaning the calipers, I'm doing perhaps is not the most ideal way. Ideally, I would take them to a shop and have them sandblasted and powder coated. But in my scenario, I just cannot justify the cost, which is about £100 in the area where I live. And also, I don't really have the time to drive to a shop, drop them off, wait for the calipers to be done, which is about a week. And I think for my scenario, just cleaning the calipers with a wire brush and giving them a new coat of paint will just do the trick. They will look miles better than they are now. I have to be honest, it's probably one of the most disgusting sets of calipers I've seen in all of my life, and I have seen a fair few set of calipers, and I've never seen them that rusty. So I don't know where the car lived all its life, but it looks like it just lived in a swamp, if I'm honest. So yeah, I'm just going to continue cleaning up the calipers, and I do need to go to a shop and get a new wire brush attachment for my angle grinder. The first attachment that I've used is just disintegrated, so I just need to get some better quality wire brush attachment and get the calipers all cleaned out, and then just assemble them, and then I can put them on the car and actually bleed the brakes and drive the car. That's the plan, and hopefully by the end of the video that's what I'm going to achieve. So I finished cleaning up all the calipers now. I've wiped them down with paint thinner. Completely forgot its name. The calipers look a bit cleaner now. Let me just turn the camera around and show you how they look now, and my homemade spray booth. So it's just a big box that I've just cut open like that. So I've masked the calipers from there, so not to get any paint on the new seals and the pistons. So that's all I could fit into the box at the moment. It's hanging off here, so I didn't want to put any weight onto here. So I will add a picture to this video just to show the before and after. And the calipers actually cleaned up quite well. I don't think I was giving them enough credit really when I started, so they even shine a little bit. So the paint I'm using is this Technique Midnight Black brake caliper. It's heat resistant, no primer required, and it gives a gloss finish. So the instructions that I've only just seen, so it should be touch dry in 30 minutes at +20, and it's about 5 degrees. So I'll have to leave them for a while for them to dry up, and they are scratch resistant in 7 days. So I think I made a good decision by putting the pistons in first, because it helps when the calipers are in the vise. And if I would have had to leave the paint to dry for 7 days, and I'd not be able to assemble the calipers for another 7 days. It just would, the whole process would just drag out for too long. So I'm just gonna give calipers a coat of paint, and that will transform them even further. And I'll just let them dry, and after that I can go and fit them to the car. I'm not sure it's going to be today. It is very windy, as you may be able to hear at certain points in the video. It sometimes sounds like the roof going to blow off, which wouldn't surprise me at all with the way this shed is built. It wasn't built by me. It is going to get rebuilt at one point, but at the moment that's not a video about that. So yeah, like I say, I'm just going to give them a quick coat of paint, let it dry for a bit, and go over again, and then leave them probably for today and come back to them tomorrow. Whereas for you, it's going to be just a flash. Hey guys, so I finished painting the calipers. They had some time to dry, and the results are neither good or bad. The calipers look a lot fresher than they did before. And let me flip the camera around and I'll show you the end result. So this is the end result. The front calipers look fairly decent. The finish is, I think it's absolutely fine for cast iron sort of metal piece of metal. The carriers have also been painted. The rear calipers, the finish is really weird on them. I think that is possibly because the paint, the can of paint that I used, I think the finish on the rear calipers is very different to the front, is because when I painted the rear calipers, the paint was left outside, well, left in the workshop, and it was just cold. Whereas when I went to paint the front calipers, I actually left the can in the house for a few hours, so it had time to warm up, and quite likely that's why the finish is so different. But I'm not going to bother cleaning them up again and giving them another coat of paint. I just want to get it all on the car, bleed the brakes, and finally drive the car so that I don't have to walk to the shops. So I'm just going to finish assembling the calipers. Obviously I've done the rears, I just need to do the fronts now, and then I can go ahead and install them on the car. So the brakes are all fitted up. I went all around the car and checked that all the pipes have been tightened up and are secure. Just turn the flash on because it's getting a bit dark. So I did reroute the the ABS pipe, the ABS sensor wire. It was going through the front for some reason before. I've also fitted a new sensor because the older one was just a plug dangling from there. That was just two wires joined together. So now I should have a functioning sensor. The front is also all done, and the caliper is looking a little bit better. Other side is also done. I have ordered a new bracket from BMW. It's about £15 to go on here so that these cables can be secured, and everything's back together on this corner. So I've also bled the brakes, and I've used one of these power bleeding kits where you use the pressure of the tyre to force the brake fluid through. It didn't seem like there was any air coming out from the calipers, however the brake pedal is still soft. I've done some research and this seems to be a bit of a trial and error thing with bleeding the brakes on the X5. I wanted to plug in the laptop to bleed to activate the ABS pump, in case there's any air in there and my battery is just dead on the car. I've tried to charge it and tried to jump start it, and basically the car doesn't want to run at the moment. So I think at this point I'm just going to end the video at this stage, and I'm just going to pick up in the next few days when I get a new battery, and hopefully can get the car started again. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.